The sound of the glass door locking echoed louder than it should have. Click. Marcus froze. For a second, he didn't even turn around. He just stood there, staring at the polished marble floor beneath his feet, watching the reflection of the chandeliers shimmer like something out of a dream or a trap. "Hey," he called out, his voice calm but sharp. "Why did you lock the door?" No response, only silence, and the faint whisper of footsteps retaining. That's when Marcus turned. 2 employees stood near the entrance, whispering to each other. One of them, the manager, judging by her stiff posture and badge, had her hand still resting on the lock, and she was watching him like he didn't belong here, like he never did. Marcus adjusted his jacket. Clean, tailored, expansive but not flashy. He didn't look out of place, but to them, he clearly did. "I ask you something," Marcus said, walking slowly toward the door. "Why is it locked?" The manager forced a tight smile. "Sir, it's just a precaution." "Precaution?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Against what?" Her smile faded. "Against theft." There it was, not even subtle. Marcus exhaled slowly, nodding once as if he'd heard that exact sentence 100 times before. "Right," he said quietly. "Of course." Behind her, another employee shifted nervously. A young guy, maybe early 20s, avoiding eye contact. Marcus noticed everything, the tension, the judgment, the fear that wasn't really fear, it was assumption. "You locked me inside," Marcus said, voice firmer now. "That's illegal." "No, sir," the manager snapped, her tone sharpening. "We locked the store because we noticed suspicious behavior." Marcus let out a small, almost amused laugh. "Suspicious? Walking in and looking at watches is suspicious now. You were lingering." "Yeah," Marcus replied. "That's called shopping." The store was quiet, too quiet. Marcus glanced around. Cameras in every corner, mirrors reflecting every angle, glass cases filled with watches that cost more than most people's yearly salaries. He had built places like this, designed them, owned them, but right now, he was being treated like he didn't even belong near the door. "You can unlock it now," Marcus said, extending a hand. "I'll leave." Bashi didn't move. Instead, she crossed her arms. "I think it's best if we wait." "For what? For the police?" Marcus blinked. Then he laughed. Not loudly, not angrily. Just disbelief. "You called the police?" "Yes." "For what crime?" "For investigation." Marcus shook his head slowly. Incredible. Minutes stretched. No one spoke. The young employee kept glancing at Marcus, then looking away quickly. Marcus walked calmly through the store, hands in his pockets. He stopped in front of a display case, a limited edition timepiece. He smiled slightly. "I remember when we approved this design," he murmured. "What?" the manager snapped. "Nothing," Marcus said casually, turning back to her. "You ever wonder how many customers you've lost because of this?" Her jaw tightened. "We protect our business." Marcus nodded slowly. "Yeah, you do." The flashing lights painted the glass doors blue and red. Finally, 2 officers stepped out. The manager rushed forward, unlocking the door, this time with urgency. "Officers, thank you for coming. We have a situation." Marcus stood still, watching. One officer looked at him, then back at her. "What's going on?" "He's been acting suspicious," she said, pointing. "We believe he may have been attempting to steal." Marcus tilted his head slightly. "Attempting?" The second officer stepped closer. "Sir, can we talk?" "Of course. Do you have any identification?" Marcus reached into his pocket slowly. The manager watched like she was expecting something incriminating. Instead, he handed over a sleek card holder. The officer glanced at it, paused, looked again, then back at Marcus. "Is this you?" Marcus smiled faintly. "Last time I checked." The officer cleared his throat. "Sir, could you step outside with me for a moment?" The manager frowned. "Wait, what's going on?" But he ignored her. Marcus walked past her, calm as ever, and stepped outside. The cool air hit his face. "Mr. Karcher, I didn't expect." Marcus raised a hand gently. "It's fine. I'm used to it." The officer looked uncomfortable. "I'm sorry about this situation." Moftis glanced back through the glass. The manager was watching, still convinced she was right. "Are you?" Marcus asked quietly. The officer hesitated. "Yes, sir." Inside, tension grew. "What's taking so long?" the manager muttered. The young employee finally spoke. Maybe we were wrong." She shot him a glare. "We're not wrong." But her voice wasn't steady anymore. The second officer stepped forward. "Ma'am, could you come here?" She walked out, defensive. "Yes." He looked at her carefully. "Do you know who this man is?" She scoffed. "Obviously not. But that doesn't matter." "It matters." Her confidence cracked. "What do you mean?" The officer took a breath. "This is Marcus Carter." She stared, waiting, unimpressed. Okay, he's the majority owner of this entire retail chain. Silence, heavy, crushing, her face drained of color. That's not possible. Marcus stepped forward, calm and steady. Funny thing about assumptions, they don't need facts to feel real. You're the owner, majority stakeholder. He corrected softly. I didn't know. I know. That's not what I meant. I know. And somehow, that made it worse. Marcus walked back into the store. Same floor, same lights, but now everything had changed. You didn't lock the door because of what I did, he said. She couldn't look at him. You locked it because of what you thought I was. Tears welled in her eyes. I'm so sorry. Marcus looked around. At the cameras. At the employees. At the system. This isn't about an apology. The officer stood silently. Marcus took out his phone. Made a short call. I'm at the downtown location. We need to review management immediately. The manager's legs nearly gave out. Please, you didn't see a customer, Marcus said. You saw a threat. He walked toward the door, then paused. To be clear, this isn't the first time this has happened. She closed her eyes, and that's exactly the problem. He stepped outside. This time, the door stayed open. Because sometimes the biggest mistake isn't what you do. It's what you assume about someone before they even speak. Marcus didn't rush away. That was the part that made everyone more uncomfortable. Most people, after something like this, would have stormed out. Angry, humiliated, done with the place forever. But Marcus didn't. He stepped outside, took a breath, and then slowly turned back toward the glass doors. Inside, no one moved. The manager stood frozen, her hands trembling slightly, her entire world shifting in seconds. The young employee looked like he wanted to disappear. Even the officers remained still, watching what Marcus would do next. Because now, this wasn't just a situation anymore, it was a moment of truth. Marcus walked back in. Not with anger. Not with pride. With purpose. The door opened smoothly this time. No hesitation. No lock. Just space. He stepped inside again, and the same floor that had felt like a cage minutes ago now felt completely different. The silence followed him, heavier than before. I'm not leaving just yet, Marcus said calmly. No one replied. He walked toward the center of the store and stopped, turning slowly as his eyes moved across every corner, every camera, every display, every employee. You know what the worst part is? He said quietly. The manager swallowed hard. Sir, it's not what you did, Marcus interrupted gently. She blinked, confused. It's how normal it felt to you. That hit harder than anything else. Her shoulders dropped slightly, like something inside her had just cracked. I thought I was protecting the store, she whispered. Marcus nodded. I believe you. That surprised her. But protecting it from what? He continued. From someone who walked in, well-dressed, calm, not touching anything, not hiding anything, just existing. She didn't have an answer, because there wasn't one. The young employee finally spoke again, his voice shaky. I didn't think he was doing anything wrong. The manager snapped her head toward him. Then why didn't you say something? He hesitated. Because you already decided. Silence again. Marcus looked at him, really looked this time. What's your name? Ethan, he said quietly. Marcus nodded. You noticed. That matters. Ethan looked down, unsure how to respond. Marcus turned back to the manager. Leadership isn't about being right all the time. It's about being aware when you might be wrong. Tears slipped down her face now. I understand that. No, Marcus said softly. You're starting to. That distinction mattered. Outside, a small crowd had begun to gather. People drawn by the flashing lights earlier, now curious about what had happened inside the luxury store. Marcus noticed them through the glass. This doesn't stay in here, he said. The manager's face tightened again. Please, don't do that. Don't do what? Turn this into something bigger. Marcus held her gaze. It already is something bigger. He walked toward the front, standing near the glass so both the people inside and outside could see him clearly. This is how it starts, he said. Small decisions, quick judgments, quiet assumptions. No one interrupted him. You don't wake up one day and decide to discriminate, he continued. You build it over time, moment by moment, until it feels normal. The officers exchanged a glance. Even they were listening now, not as authorities but as witnesses. Marcus turned slightly, his voice still calm but carrying weight. And the problem with something that feels normal is that you stop questioning it. The manager wiped her tears, shaking her head slowly. I never thought of myself like that. Most people don't, Marcus replied. Ethan looked up again. What happens now? That question hung in the air. Not just about the job, about everything. Marcus took a slow breath. Now, we fix it. The manager looked at him, hope and fear mixed together. Marcus walked back toward her, stopping just a few feet away. First he said, "You accept that this wasn't a mistake." Her expression fell again. "It was a choice," he continued. "A fast one, a quiet one, but still a choice." She nodded slowly, forcing herself to hear it. "Second, you learn why you made that choice." "I don't know if I can," she admitted. "You can," Marcus said. "You just don't want to." That honesty stung. "And third," he added, "there are consequences." Her breath caught. "I'm not firing you today," Marcus said. Everyone in the room seemed to exhale at once. "But that doesn't mean you're safe," he continued. "It means you're being watched closely." She nodded quickly. "I understand. I'll do better, I promise." Marcus held her gaze. Promises don't fix patterns. Actions do. He turned slightly, addressing everyone now. "This store will undergo full review. Training, policies, hiring practices, everything." The officers finally stepped back, their role clearly over now. Marcus looked at Ethan again. "And people like you, who notice but stay quiet." Ethan straightened slightly. "Yes, you speak next time." "I will," he said, more firmly now. Marcus gave a small nod. Then he reached into his pocket again, pulling out his card holder. He placed a single card on the counter. "My direct contact," he said. "If something like this happens again, I hear about it immediately." No one questioned him now. No one doubted him. That part was over. He walked toward the door again, slower this time. Not because he was unsure, but because he wanted them to remember every second of this. At the entrance, he paused one last time. Without turning around, he spoke. "Respect isn't proven when it's easy," he said. "It's proven when your assumptions are challenged." Then he stepped outside. The crowd parted slightly as he walked through, some people whispering, others just watching in silence. Inside the store, no one moved for a long time. The manager stared at the floor, replaying everything in her head. Ethan looked at the door, then back at the place where Marcus had stood, and for the first time since it all started, the store didn't feel like a place of luxury anymore. It felt like a place that had just been exposed. Because sometimes the real cost of a mistake isn't money. It's the moment you realize who you were before you were forced to see it.